which is sad. But yeah, I thought she was okay in this.
Let me in, Pike. I'm hungry.
Go home, Ben.
I'm hungry. You're floating. Come on, man. Get away from here. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Why hello there YouTube, and welcome back to Vampire Weekend with the penultimate day of part 2 of this series. So today I am reviewing Queen of the Damned. This was written by Scott Abbott and Michael Peroni, and was directed by Michael Reimer, starring Aaliyah, yeah, some R&B singer, Stuart Townsend, Maguire something, Paul McGann, Vincent Perez, Claudia Black, and Leda Olin. So this is a 2002 fantasy horror based on the book by Anne Rice, based on a story in her Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. This focuses on a vampire. Named Lastet de Lincount. I'm pronouncing that right, I hope. Who is this vampire who's tired of living, so he goes into a deep slumber for a couple hundred years or so, and then is awakened by the sound of heavy metal music, and awakened by that he feels inspired and he starts a heavy metal band, and hints secrets and subliminal messages that vampires are real in these songs, and starts to expose vampires, and that pisses a lot of vampire clans off, and eventually it gains the attention of an ancient vampire called Akshia, played by Aaliyah. Yes. I'm not going to give anything else away about it. So let's get on to my likes and dislikes about this one. First of all, I like the heavy metal score in this. It was, proper satanic music and that. And I like the lead in this. Akasa. The queen vampire in this, played by Aaliyah. Sorry, I'm really trying to read these names right, but I know that she was an R&B singer and she died young, and this film was her first and last role because she died during post-production of this film, which is sad. But yeah, I thought she was okay in this. I liked her performance in it, given that she didn't have much dialogue. I mean, she did, but yeah, she was just dark, sexy, and gothic, and all that. Dry throat. Yeah, I liked her performance and her character and her look in it. Like I said, vampiric and sexy and dark, and I like that. I even liked leading male in this, played by Stuart Townsend, Lestat. He was good in this. He looked dark, gothic, and he was a typical rock metalhead that was was like a typical band member, all laid back saying, yeah, I'm a vampire, oh yeah, look at me, all that. Yeah, I liked how much of a douche he was. And this was long before Edward, so he kind of reminded me like Edward, going, I'm a vampire, but Edward's down about being a vampire. He loved being a vampire. Yeah, so that character was good. I also noticed that this had former Doctor Who Paul McGann in it, and when I watched this I went, hey, it's the Doctor. He was great in this with his character and that. Don't remember much about his role in it. And I also like the character of Jessie Reeves, played by Maguire Maroon or something. I'm butchering her name. I'm not trying to read it all out. Yeah, I liked her character in this. She was torn between the world of vampire and human. Yes, I even liked the gothic cinematography. This film was very dark, very gothic, and sexy and romantic and dark, and I liked that in a vampire film. That's what a vampire film should be, dark and sexy. Now to my dislikes. I didn't like that this didn't have much horror going in it. I mean, it had its horror elements, but I'll put this down more to romantic fantasy drama. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's a good film. People have even hinted that it's a sequel to Interview with the Vampire. I don't think it is. I think it's in that same universe as Interview with the Vampire, but it is not a sequel, or at least a direct sequel. I'd say, because in the books and that, I think it is a sequel to. It's definitely in the Vampire Chronicles from Anne Rice. I haven't really read those books, but that I do know. I'd say that this is in the same universe as Interview with the Vampire. It's not a sequel. I like to think it's a standalone film that probably does have shares that same universe. I didn't like how there wasn't a lot of horror in it, but there was definitely the horror element. The horror was definitely there. It just wasn't. I think it focused more on the romance and the fantasy and that of it. But this is, I have to say, a brilliantly done film. I mean, I watched this on ITV4 many years ago, and I liked it. It was, it inspired me for my own vampire fiction and that, because I have wrote my own vampire fiction out, vampire fiction and that. like my own fictitious take on vampires and werewolves and other supernatural creatures. That's how much I love horror, because it's so inspiring to me to write and that. And I do love writing fan fiction and my own mythos on these supernatural creatures. So yes, but all in all, it's a good film. It's definitely not a bad film, and it's not a brilliant film, but it's a good film. Very enjoyable, I'd say, and very watchable. So, my final thoughts and ratings. I like not Interview with a Vampire, that's... No, I liked Queen of the Damned. It was a brilliantly made vampire film, and yeah, I liked the soundtrack in this. It's so unfortunate that Aaliyah didn't get to see her, this film done, because she unfortunately died in a plane crash, which was sad. But, she did great in this film. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Queen of the Damned, I'm giving this 3.5 steaks out of 5. 3.5 steaks out of 5 for Queen of the Damned. So, that has been Vampire Weekend Day 7. And have you seen this film? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are linked down below in the description, so be sure to check all that out. And yeah, join me tomorrow for the final day of this series of Vampire Weekend, where I will be reviewing a classic that spawned a TV series. So yes, until then, don't have nightmares.